I want to help you become familiar with a website that you'll never, ever in your life, ever probably would ever go to, which is not a bad thing. But for this specific purpose, it is very helpful. It is the Maricopa County Assessors website, which is www.mcassessor.maricopa.gov. Now, why we're here is we want to make sure and confirm that our property classification is correct. It's probably one of three classifications. It could be a residential primary residence, residential rental, or non-primary if it is a second home. Now, the important thing is if it's a primary residence, you want to make sure that's correct because you get a tax break of anywhere from $1 to $600 per year. So let's make sure that my address is correct. You can put in your address, you can put in the APN number, which I'm sure you don't know, and if you do, something's probably wrong with you, or your name is good enough too. This takes you to my home, and I look down here and it has the APN number, owner, address, subdivision, and so that's all right, and I want to find that classification, so I click on the APN number, and that takes me to another page where it gives the property information, owner information, and also here's that valuation information. And I see in the description as primary residence. That's right, that's what it should be, which the legal classification, the property classification is classification 3, 3.1. Now also too, if you want to, you notice here, and this is not the full cash value of my home, it's above that, thank heavens. But if you want to try and understand the full cash value and the limited property value, go for it, but just be aware there is a very, very loose and vague correlation to market value, so don't stay up all night fretting about that. Let me show you another property where it was recently sold. It was a rental, and now it has been is now a primary residence, which is a good thing because the person living there, it's owner occupied, and so that's good. So they're saving it again anywhere from $0 to $600 per year, having it classified as a primary residence. Which you live there, you want to make sure that that's happening. Okay, now for part 2. Let's say you did find out there was a discrepancy and error in the classification of your property, the description. So now instead of using this part, we want to come down here to the form section. So we'll click on that. And what we're looking for is the residential. We're not worried about agricultural land. And we want to come down to the residential petition for review of valuation. Now again, there it doesn't come out and say classification, but this is the proper form. So when we click on that, it's going to bring us to this page and what we want to click on is download. You can click on property tax form. It'll take you another page, which will then you find the right place to click on there, and it'll just bring you back to this page. So you want to click on download this form. Once we do that, this is what will come up. Now on this first page, there's a couple things that talks about, we see we do have the right form because it talks here about the classification, petition for review of the classification of property, which is correct. And now we want to come down here and also remember later on where it talks about justifying your opinion of value in item 5. That's going to be on the 3rd page. But what you really want to focus on here is it talks about the classification of your primary residence. Please attach the documentation such as, and these are the things that they will accept. So that is very important to remember. We don't really need to worry about the appeals to the tax court because again, this is just a simple classification change. We do come down here, you'll notice again it talks about, now that item number 5 is the basis for the petition. Come through here and click on the other right there, and again it talks about increasing or decreasing the valuation or changing changing the classification. That's what we're interested in. So really what we want to do here is in item number 5, we want to describe what the problem is and what we want to have done. So you can type in here. That's a nice thing. Oh, wow, look how quickly I typed that. This is what I would put if it was my property. Incorrect classification and description of the property. It is a primary residence and not a residential rental, as evidenced by the attached Arizona driver's license and utility bills. Please change the legal classification to 3.1 and description to primary residence. And then down here, what you talks about value shown on notice of valuation, which would be the classification 4, and what we want it changed to is 3.1. That's all we're asking for. So then sign it, print it out, and send it in. One thing that I would do is I would call them, and when I was researching this, I called them. They were very, very helpful. And I would call them at this number shown here. They were very helpful. And again, I would just review everything, you confirm everything you've put on this application and where to send it and the timing and things like that. They're very helpful, and they may be able to answer some more questions. So I hope that's helpful and hopefully save you some money and decrease your taxes if your property is classified incorrectly. Take care. Again, this is Gordon Baker with RE/MAX, 480-326-8571. Bye-bye.